So Peter Kasprzak, currently I'm a CEO of Innovate Australia, also president of Hydrogen Society of Australia. When I came to Australia, I eventually gravitated towards Inventors Association. Met Adam, we were together with Inventors Association on the committee for a long time. Eventually I became a president, and Adam was my vice president. And Adam, I should say, is Adam Osarian. He's a co-founder of Innovate Australia. He's an associate professor at Edith Cowan University, teaching electric and electronic engineering. Eventually we were running the organization, organizing events. Every month we were organizing events. Besides Inventors Association, we were actually running Smart Grid Network already for several years together. Simply started, we wanted to do a business together. So we thought, instead of running around town and see what the opportunities are there, so we're going to make an event and then everybody going to come to us. So that's simple. And so we did. We organized an event at Edith Cowan University. It was a really good event, and actually serendipity, things happened. So there was expert in smart grids area from ABB, visiting from Switzerland actually. And we just asked him. He said, "Yeah, fantastic. Would like to participate." And our friend Paul Lyons from Ecocentric Energy. So they were our first two speakers there. And after we finished, we actually decided that no, this is we don't have resources, not the good timing for us to get involved in the business. But then people were asking, "Hey, when is the next event?" So we thought, well, why not? We might as well organize the next one. So this is how it started. So we were used to organizing events. And therefore, with Inventors Association as well, we brought together a mutual friend, which was Lynn Bisley. Lynn Bisley used to be chief scientist of Western Australia, incredible person. She came as a patron of the organization, like I mentioned, and she was instrumental. So this is basically, that's why, we then started. There's a long story behind it, but we eventually started Innovate Australia and started organizing events, and that's how I ended up. Then we were joined with Adam, we were joined by a couple of people, Gary Baverstock, who is green architect, very well known, and Carol Wallbank, actually our good friend. So there were four of us who were first directors. Actually, Innovate Australia officially was founded 2014 in November. Registered as an organization, but was funded in 2013. Basically, in 2013, with Adam, we put the idea to a government, to Western Australian government, to establish Perth as a mining, oil and gas global innovation center. That was a proposal. The proposal sort of originally was accepted with great enthusiasm, but eventually sort of like nothing happened from that. So eventually with Adam, when we received the letter, sort of polite letter, there is a lot of activities anyway. So we decided, forget it, we're going to do it ourselves. So at that time we went to see Peter Klinken, who Lynn introduced us in the meantime. So Peter was then a new chief scientist. Peter is an incredible guy, and so when he heard the ideas, he said, "Wow, you stole my ideas." So it's really funny. So and Peter was very first speaker on our very first event. So our first event was Mining Innovation Network. Then months later we did Oil and Gas Innovation Network. And since we noticed people actually liked it, so we actually organized, and a couple months later we organized Agriculture Innovation Network, because we knew quite a few friends working in that area. And so that's how it started. It has broadened, because we run two types of events. So one type is networking events, like I mentioned. That's for specific industries, basically focused on specific industries. So again, because of that, we broadened, we experimented with some. We added, for example, biomimicry innovation network, but there was not much need in Perth. Biomimicry, by the way, it's innovation inspired by nature. Okay, so Velcro, for example, is a example of biomimicry. So yes, we added Space Innovation Network, HK and Disability Innovation Network, which we thought areas which are needed, where they not really emphasize very much, but there's a lot of innovation needed in those areas. And then second type, it's summits. So basically those are larger events. They're basically 6 presenters and panel discussion. So we actually, yeah, the first one we organized it that was towards the very end actually of 2013, I think, and that was for the future of Western Australia, so WA 2030. And we had really prominent panel. We had Professor Barry Marshall, illustrious Nobel laureate. We had Lord Mayor. We had a couple senators on the panel. We had actually Linda Reynolds, who later became a really good friend, and Dio Wong, who was then Palmer United Party. So we always try to invite people. We try to be uniting people instead of dividing. So it's the same when we're organizing an event. We tell if we have people or politicians, we tell them not to sort of discuss politics. So besides events, we try to find projects that have social value, and then promote. It's good because I think we're quite effective in attracting good people like speakers, etc. Because everything we do is free of charge, so we don't charge for our events purposely. People do find it attractive, and thanks to that, they do support us. So. So for example, our biggest supporter, Colin Yates, who is Regional Development Australia, same thing. Colin came to us after the first summit, and she said, "Wow, this is fantastic! I should be doing this. I don't really have a manpower. Why don't we join forces?" So, and because she's got some funding from federal funding, so we share that, and so we're able to actually put this together. But also, just people like, for example, we got really prestigious office thanks to Jamie Vine from Liberty, who actually, we got office on St. George's Terrace on 24th floor. We have another office in Burswood, and all thanks to, and we don't have to pay for it. So it's really fantastic. And City of Perth was actually kind enough to acknowledge what we do and encourage us actually to apply for grants from City of Perth, so that's another supporter. And we do get one-off supporters as well, which we're very grateful for that. We've done so far over 70 events. So when blockchain was very popular, we did the event on blockchain. So for example, so we're looking at, like you said, emerging industries. I think, look, being biased, but I think definitely energy it's by far beating anything here in Western Australia. We've always been leaders in energy, with our gas being leaders in gas production, but now with giant project like Asian Hub, which is gigantic. There's Murchison project, which is 5 gigawatts. So they all focus on energy, on hydrogen production or green hydrogen production, and that's the ambition of actually our government right now, is focus actually on being world exporter of green hydrogen, eventually to replace LNG. So Alana McTiernan, the minister, actually who is in charge of it, she organized hydrogen group basically. So here in Perth, so there is a hydrogen council that actually looks after production and all the activities and grants for hydrogen. So I think the energy and everything that goes with it. The blockchain, for example, is a big one. Again, in the area of energy, Gemma Green. So that's another example of using blockchain actually for energy exchange. In that case, the company is called Power Ledger. So basically, Power Ledger is peer-to-peer exchange of excess of energy that you can produce through solar energy. So they're very interesting areas. Defense, as you know, we organize an event in defense, and our great supporter and advocate of Innovate Australia, who used to actually been our MC on many occasions, Senator Linda Reynolds. Now, fortunately for Linda, unfortunately for us, she became a minister for defense, so she doesn't have time. Space industry is very, very interesting. There is a young man named Joshua Letcher, who actually runs a company called Space Industries. And Joshua is a fantastic young entrepreneur and incredible. Every time I talk to him, people say I'm enthusiastic, but then, I get recharged, and I know he's developing, Space Center by the airport. So there is going to be a lot of activities in that area. So it's you're right, space, like I said, gaming, blockchains, those are industries that actually definitely going to be. Agriculture, there is another area which the innovation is very prominent. We all together, the ecosystem, when it comes to innovation, is very robust, here in Perth. There are two areas, okay, depending how you look at the achievement. One is, for some people, is journey, for some people is destination, okay? So when it comes to destination, definitely the one that you can tick off is creation of Hydrogen Society of Australia, because it took over 2 years, we started as a program. That's our goal, start the programs, nurture it, and just, give it new life. So basically, that's what's happened with Hydrogen Society of Australia. And then eventually we just let it go completely. So right now I'm still in president of it, but we eventually look for the president who can take it to the next stage. So that's also with the CRCs. We actually become an official partner of CRC Association. I have a warm spot in my heart to CRC program. CRC is Cooperative Research Center program. Is probably the oldest government funding program. This year is 30 years, so how government actually started it. And there was a time about 4 years ago when all of a sudden Western Australia has no CRCs. We used to always been behind the rest of the states, but at that time, and because about 10 years ago, I was leading the bid group to create sustainable electric transport CRC. It never happened, but I really feel very that this is needed. It's great for economy. So what's happened is we actually organize a group of people, from politicians to academics, and basically get them together, and we started having first our meetings in Siemens with Andrew McCluskey, who runs Siemens here, and then we organize as Innovate Australia. We organize within a year, we organized 3 events, one south, one in the city, one north, basically promoting CRC program. And I'm not saying because of us, okay, but the situation, Tony Peacock, who is the CEO of CRC Association, actually did really nice write-up, mentioned Innovate Australia, our role in actually changing the landscape, and recently sent me a message, said, look what's happened. Before there was now we got, for the first time in the history of the program, which is 30 years old, Perth, Western Australia has more CRC than any other capital city in Australia. So that's, again, I'm not saying it's because of us. I'm saying it just happened, but we had our part in it. So I'm happy. It's supposed to be 6 right now, okay? So because the last one, the Phoenix CRC, actually the Future Export CRC just get funded, and that deals actually with hydrogen as well and with LNG. So that's for us, that's our concrete achievement. We did something, I feel. But then, when it comes to journey, there is a lot of programs that are on the agenda right now. That, for example, we working with an American company called Grid Space. And this morning I had a conference actually with Swinburne University, who are actually helping us. We're using AI, artificial intelligence, to create a helpline for personal crisis and suicide prevention, but not to replace Lifeline, to sort of add another layer to basically to be the first port of call. So the phone number is actually 1-800-HELP-ME, and the idea is that people actually will call and they will talk to artificial intelligence. And you'd be amazed to see how advanced this is. You would not know you talk to artificial intelligence. We'd be very happy if, at least one of these projects we can actually cement. So either the project, like I told you about 1-800-HELP-ME, we're actually talking about applying for CRCP. P stands for project. So create. It's a fascinating area anyway. And just progress with that. That would be ideal. But we have like open youth access. If we can also, I don't know if the conferences will start before the end of the year, but if they do, then we got time actually to prepare and actually to implement that. So that's now. But beyond, we have other projects which we approach government about, just when I said approach, was more in the casual way than proper proposal, but basically, like for example, wanted to utilize East Perth Power Station, portion of it, to create Australian Innovation Hall of Fame. There is no Hall of Fame in Australia for people who build this country, you know, for top innovators, you know, people inventing stuff and creating new ideas, you know, and so we don't have anything like it. So that's one of the things that we actually is on the agenda we would like to do. Projects, we get fantastic. If we get somebody who would like to adopt us, we were more than welcome, because then we can do incredible things. But yeah, so look, so yeah, that's our project. We'd be very happy. I have to say something on the end, because look, for us, people say, okay, so where is this going? Like sometimes people go, oh, it's a talk fest when you do the event. For us, depending what your goal is, our goal is this: bring people together to create innovation ecosystem. That's the goal for us. So it's not to develop a paper and then go something and then build something. No. That's an important area to actually, that's why we keep this free, all the events, because we want to bring people together. And like I said, this cross-pollination of people from different areas of business, industry, government, it actually create this really robust innovation ecosystem. So that's why that's for us means success. For me, I tell people very often, you know, when I organize an event, for example, and then I close my eyes and I hear people going, when you hear the noises but you cannot distinguish words, for me this is like music. I'm on cloud 9, you know, when I hear this, you know. So I know things are happening. I know people are talking to each other, and you know, we had many examples of businesses being happening because people came to our events, or we were able to introduce people, and you know, they have contracts. There is a contract in Fremantle Port now. There are different places people doing business because they were able to actually come across each other. So that's for us is a success. So that's what we're aiming for in the future. Yeah.